I've seen so many great products and terrible negotiators who presented these products. Because of these people, companies shut down and the world never got to see those good products. I am confident that everyone encounters difficult negotiations in their life. If you want to learn how to negotiate, absorb my experience. One of the reasons for unsuccessful negotiators is insecurity. And many people have it. We will talk about this too. Hello, my name is Serhi Heros, and I am a sales and negotiation trainer. There are several reasons for insecurity. The first reason is psychological insecurity. A person might know everything and be capable, but there is some fear or discomfort. And the second reason is the lack of tools. That is, a person may be psychologically confident, but not know how to negotiate. In such a case, the person relies on charisma, energy, and their own strength. But this can lead to burnout. What are the tools in negotiations? This is the structure of the conversation. These are the techniques, what to say, what not to say. These are negotiation tactics. These are different schools of negotiation, for example, the Harvard School or the German School or the Japanese School. These are all technologies, tools, but what to do about psychological insecurity? In general, insecurity is something that should not be fought, like any of our feelings that interfere, such as anger, rage, sadness, resentment, or exhaustion. When we fight something, we exhaust ourselves even more. That is, our feelings give us some hints, and we need to listen to them. For example, you need to recharge, rest, visit a psychologist, or ask someone for support. But sometimes our feelings let us down. For example, they suggest that we shouldn't engage in sales because there have already been many rejections, and we feel exhausted. Now imagine if that wasn't the case. You learned professionally, received agreements instead of rejections, your mood would be better. So, is the issue in the feelings or in the fact that the feelings are a consequence of not having learned to sell well, negotiate, and enjoy it? Therefore, if there is insecurity, you need to understand what exactly this insecurity is about. For example, there was a situation in the past with one of my clients. This is a true story. The whole family was sitting together. It was some kind of celebration, and the father asked his daughter, who is now my client, to recite a poem. The daughter came out reciting a poem, but so hesitantly because she hadn't learned to speak clearly. And the father corrected her every time, but he did it with love. That is, he genuinely wanted his daughter to recite the poem well. However, the daughter perceived it as criticism and a lack of love for her. Why she perceived it that way is a separate question, but it is a fact. When the daughter grew up, she tried to address this issue of insecurity and took several psychology courses, even becoming a psychologist. And there are 3 ways to deal with insecurity. The first is psychological help through coaching sessions. The second method is exercises, like in a gym. Only these are negotiation exercises. For example, you can ask friends to do a simulation. Friends, I need to practice a technique. I have a coach. He gave me an assignment. I have a text. I will read to you. You will respond, and I will adjust to how to conduct the negotiations. At the end, you will give me feedback. That is, it is training in a comfortable atmosphere with people who will not offend, where one can be uncertain. And the third method is to record the negotiations. That is, to make a recording on a voice recorder. I will explain this in detail, step by step, so you can implement it as soon as tomorrow. Listen carefully, and I am very interested in your thoughts in the comments. First, you need to ask your interlocutor for permission to explain why you might be able to do this. That is, make a request, record it, and then discuss it with expert G, with your colleague. If you think you won't be allowed, write me a request in the comments. I will explain how to do it if it is non-confidential there. Because sometimes when we say something, we don't remember what we said. And that's why it's necessary to write it down and analyze it phrase by phrase, word by word. That is, to analyze means to look at which phrases received a positive reaction, which received a negative one, where interest increased, where it decreased, and why exactly, and to work through it again in a simulation. and repeat this process several times until the skill becomes as it should be. That is, we come to the meeting, make mistakes, take notes, analyze, correct, conduct the simulation again, and practice with a coach or a colleague. Then perhaps we practice on friends. Then we go back to the client or to some important negotiations. We record again, get permission, and analyze again, and we keep doing this until your skill satisfies you or your partner. It's like in dancing, boxing, and singing. Practice each move, each technique over and over again. If you haven't attended negotiation training, but have been involved in sports or another hobby, it's very interesting to know why. I have been involved in sales and negotiations for 19 years. To gain some of my experience, you just need to write the word test to me on Instagram or Telegram, which is mentioned in the description under the video.